You know, we're always looking for the next big tech breakthrough to solve our climate crisis. But what if the most powerful solution isn't in some futuristic lab, but has been right under our feet this whole time?
Before we can get to that potential, we really have to understand the problem. For generations, we've basically treated our soil, well, like dirt. And now, we're starting to pay the price. I mean, just really think about that for a second. The ground we walk on, the very foundation of our entire food system, could it really hold a key to stabilizing our climate? 75%. According to the IPCC, that's how much of the rich organic carbon, the very lifeblood of healthy soil, has been lost from farmland around the world. We've been emptying a critical carbon bank without even realizing it.
So how did this even happen? Well, it breaks down pretty simply. You've got intensive tillage, that's basically just plowing, which shatters the soil's delicate structure. Then there's monocropping, which is planting the same thing over and over again, which just starves the soil and kills off biodiversity. All of this has basically put our planet's soil health deep into debt.
Okay, so that's the bad news. But what if there's a way to actually reverse the trend? A way not just to sustain what we have, but to actively rebuild it. And that, right there, is where regenerative agriculture comes in.
And this is a total shift in mindset, right? Instead of just trying to take less from the soil, the whole goal is to give back, to actively make it healthier. It's all about working with nature to rebuild topsoil, improve the water cycle, and bring more life back to the farm. And look, this isn't some new fad. We're talking way back in the 1980s, when the organic pioneer Robert Rodale pointed out something really important. Sustainable can sometimes just mean keeping a broken system from getting any worse. But regenerative, he said, well, that sets a much higher bar. It's about actively making things better. So what does this actually look like on a farm? It's not one single magic trick. It's a whole toolkit of practices that all work together. So these are the heavy hitters. Take no-till farming. Instead of plowing, which is like setting off an earthquake for all the microbes in the soil and releasing carbon, farmers plant directly into what's left of the old crop. This keeps the soil's structure and all its tiny life intact. And then you have cover crops, which are kind of like a living blanket for the soil, protecting it and feeding it all year round. What's really cool is seeing how these practices all build on each other. It's a system. You start by messing with the soil as little as possible. Then you make sure it's always covered. Then you mix things up with different plants. And finally, you can bring animals back into the picture to complete that natural cycle. Each step just makes the whole thing stronger. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great in theory, but can it really work at a huge scale? Well, let's look at a real-world project that's happening right now in a really important part of the world for agriculture. This is the Re-Terra project in Brazil, and it shows you that for big change, you need a team. You need a bank like Rabobank to handle the financing. You need a group like Roots to bring the boots-on-the-ground farming know-how. And then you need a firm like Enthesis that knows how to navigate the super complex world of carbon markets. And their goal, it is incredibly ambitious. Over the next 5 years, they're aiming to switch 350,000 hectares of farmland over these regenerative practices. I mean, that is a massive landscape-level effort to build a better farming system. Okay, so let's zoom back out. Why does rebuilding some soil on a farm in Brazil matter for the global atmosphere? Well, it all comes down to the absolutely mind-blowing storage capacity of healthy soil. This right here is the crucial point. Just look at the scale. The amount of carbon that's stored in our planet's soil completely dwarfs the amount in the atmosphere and even all the plants and animals combined. It's this gigantic reservoir just waiting to be filled back up. Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. For more than a century, modern farming has been making massive withdrawals from this carbon bank. Regenerative agriculture is based on one simple, powerful idea. Let's start making deposits again. Let's pull that carbon out of the air and lock it back in the ground where it actually helps us. But, and this is a big but, as amazing as this all sounds, it's not a simple fairy tale. It's complicated, and there's a pretty heated debate going on right now about the true potential of all this. So on one hand, you have these incredibly bold claims. The Rodale Institute, for example, suggests we could capture more than 100% of our annual CO2 emissions. But on the other side, you've got a lot of scientists hitting the brakes, saying those numbers are way too optimistic and we just don't have the data to back it up yet.
Then there's the whole greenwashing problem. Big companies using the word regenerative as a marketing gimmick. And maybe the most important criticism, does focusing so much on farmland distract us from the urgent need to protect the forests we already have?
So where does that leave us? Look, the practices themselves, building healthier soil, bringing back biodiversity, nobody debates that that's a good thing. The real debate is about scale. Is this truly the answer to our climate problem, or is it a dangerous distraction? The answer, whatever it is going to determine the future of our food and maybe our planet, and it's buried right there in the soil.